Greetings YouTube. In today's video I'm going to be upgrading my ATSF coal train here. Currently it consists of just 6 cars plus a caboose. But that is all about to change dramatically here. Okay, so I'll show you what we're going to be working on. This is just kind of a random car I had. I think this is actually I don't know what brand this is. As far as I know, all it needs is just to be checked over and probably get a coal load put in it, and then that's going to join the fleet. Next up, we have these Stewart models. Now, I believe this is the exact same thing that I already have. I just can't quite remember. They are, however, fortunately different road numbers. So I have 6 of these, which we will be assembling. And now I have some Accurail cars. These are a little smaller. They are 55 ton. These are a little shorter cars. Quite a bit shorter, actually. And then I have these Athearn blue box set. Let's see if I can get a number for you here. These are also a little bit smaller, I believe. Yeah, these are virtually identical to those. Well, they're a little bit different. So they're a little bit bigger, slightly. So we'll be building these. And now finally, I have a 12-pack of Accurail cars. And just a little teaser for future videos. I also have 3 more 12 packs of Accurail Great Northern cars. So stay tuned for that. Someday I'll get around to putting these together as well. Here is the single individual car. I added a coal load, this one here, sorry. There's a little bit of gap on the ends here. I may need to go back and fill in, but it's going to be okay for now. Now I'll show you there is something really strange with the bottom of this. Now I had to add, let's see if you can see this. This red spacer right here I had to add because otherwise the screw bottomed out, but the truck was really loose. It was really wobbly. So I had to add this in here. I'm not sure, and I don't know anything about this car. I don't know what brand it is. I don't know if these are the right trucks to even go on here. So this thing is kind of just a mystery, but it seems to be okay now. It has just a standard 148 coupler and then that spacer deal. And then the coal load. So here it is along with the existing cars. It still needs to be weathered. Other than that, it is a pretty good match. It's slightly different. The coal load is significantly different. That there's not much I can do about. And here's what it looks like after some black weathering powder. Right, next up, let's look at these Athearn cars. So here are the directions. Seems pretty simple. Nothing on the back. Looks like we have... It's already partially assembled, it seems as though. I've already got this part put on. We've got, these must be the, here are the weights. And here are the trucks and screws, all the other. Yeah, these cheapo couplers, I'm going to be skipping those. And the wheels, I will be getting rid of these plastic wheels as well. A minute here. Okay, so we have 5 sets of these. And 5 brake wheels. And looks like they give us 11 of these coupler things here. And hopefully 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 screws. Okay, so it looks like everything is here. I wasn't sure if this had been opened and maybe messed with before, so I was a little concerned that everything might not be here, but it looks like we are good to go. So I'm just going to do one of these on camera and show you how it goes, and then I'll do the rest of them off camera. All right, so looks like this is supposed to come off, and the weights just go on here like that. Not sure as of yet if that needs to be glued on or if they'll just stay on their own. I'm guessing that the screws will, yeah, the screws when you screw this down are going to hold the weights on. So I don't think there's any need to glue the weights on. Now, I think it goes, yeah, the brake wheel's on this side here. I'll go ahead and put that on. That doesn't seem like it needs to be glued in place either. Just sticks on there like that. And then this side of the apparatus with the extra holes and stuff here goes that way. So now we'll need some of these brake parts, it looks like. If you look at this, there's only 3 things, but we've got 1. Okay, so it looks... Looks to me like we need this piece. Looks like we need this piece here, this one, and this. This extra guy here must be extra, and this, that's a chimney. I don't know why we have that. Not sure. So, yeah, so from the best I can figure on the directions here, this and this are extra, so that'll just go for another project. And then looks like this guy No, it goes on this side. It didn't seem right at all. That's much better. And it looks like there's 2 tabs on this side and only 1 on that side. And according to the directions, this is how it fits. So that goes there. This goes right here. And this, hey, come on, camera, goes like that. Okay, I'll do couplers next. For that, we will be using KD148, 2 per car. Before I get too much further, I'm going to go check the height on those and make sure they're at the right. Make sure they're not too low. All right, the coupler height seems perfect. So this should just go right on here. Like that. Right. Now for axles and wheels, we'll be using these Intermountain 33-inch wheels. That goes here. And then these screws kind of hold everything together. Okay. I said that looks pretty good. I'm gonna wait and do all the weathering at the same time because I don't want to make a mess of all the stuff I've got out here. So I'll come back for that. I will, however, break out the, see what I have for coal loads here. Okay, there's the coal load I've got going on. I will put up in post where I got these. I think they were from an eBay seller. I think that looks pretty good other than needing some. Yeah, I'll come back and, well, here, I'll show you what I'm doing. This is, so the way I'm doing the black is I will take, I have this black weathering powder. Don't ask me where I got this. I've had this for a long, long time. And I just get a little bit of it out on here. That's way too much. And then take a cotton swab. And also, sometimes first I'll go in with a brush and kind of spread it around. This is way more than I needed on here. A lot of this is just going to get... So I'll kind of spread this around. Then I'll take this and kind of work it in. And streak it down. And be sure and get down here a bunch too. I'll do the ends of the cars a small amount, but I don't worry about it too much because you don't really see the ends of the cars when it's on the layout going around. So I don't spend a lot of time on it. And then I will dump off the excess there. little bit, maybe excessive amount right up in here. Let's set that off. There. The end here. Probably should have done that before I put the brake wheel on. Yeah. Brake wheel should probably go on last. I especially try to hit the area over the lettering here because the white lettering, that's where it's going to show up the most. On the brown, it doesn't really show too much. And you want it to be uneven and streaky. And a lot around the bottom here. Yeah. Call that pretty good. Okay, 4 more to go. Okay, so here's the one individual new car, and then the other 5. And it is fairly obvious on close inspection that they're not the same, but, you know, when they're zipping by on the main line and from a distance, it's kind of not that noticeable. I'm fine with it. So bigger than the difference in the different types of cars, I'm noticing the different types of coal loads. Like this is less shiny and it's much smaller grained, and this is much larger grained and much shinier. I kind of like these better. I don't know. Definitely not the same thing. Okay, next up, I'm gonna do the 6 Stewart Hobbies cars. I'm slightly feeling guilty about breaking the seal on these, but they're not doing me any good in the box here, in the package, so let's get them out. And I'll go ahead and assume they're all the same, so I'm just going to put 5 of them aside and build one on camera for you to see. Okay, let's see what's in the box. Looks like we have the car. I think this is actually a separate, yeah. That's a separate part. And a little bag of goodies. I'll open that in a second. And some weights. And some directions. So, oh, and there's cool. You can order. I don't think Stewart Hobbies is going anymore, but it looks like you can order spare parts if they were. Cool. Okay. So this has got quite a bit in the way of work we need to do. Go ahead and open up this little bag here and see what it contains. So here you have brake parts. Oh, unfortunately, I think we're missing something. Hopefully that's still in here. Trucks. One truck. Okay, these are plastic wheels. I won't be using those. And some horn hook couplers. I will not be using those. These boxes here, yeah, I probably will be using these. Okay, so I'll keep that out. This looks like some parts we'll need. Oh, there are two trucks. Whew, that was close. I thought there weren't. Okay, we'll be using the trucks. We'll not be using these. And another part there. Another one of those. And oh, good. Here's the final brake piece that was missing off that other, off of here. And then it looks like we have some of these not so great knuckle couplers. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to use these. They have the little plastic spring on them. They're just not... They're not that great. Unless yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pass on those. And then we have two long screws and two short screws. Okay, so I think what we want to do here is take this off. And, so per the directions, there are a bunch of bracing pieces that go in here. They go like that. Can you see that right here? I think I'm going to leave those out. I'm afraid they might interfere with the coal load when I put it in there. So I'm going to just put that stuff back in the box. I'm afraid that when the coal load sits down then there, it might get held up by that stuff, and you're never going to see it anyway. So I'm just going to put that stuff back in the bag. It also looks like, this part 17 right here. I don't seem to have that. Well, it's not going to show anyway because I'll put the coal load in it. All right, so it doesn't look like I need to do probably anything here, but on this side. Okay, I believe this is how the brake stuff is supposed to go. All those press fit really well, except for this one right here, I think is going to need some glue on it, but I'm not going to do that until I put the coupler box on. So maybe I'll just leave that off for a second and do the couplers next. And we're just going to use a 148 coupler, and let's see, which way does that go? Okay, so it looks like the coupler box just mounts on there like that. Seems to work well. And this brake component, I think I showed you the wrong mounting deal before it goes here. There. There's all the brake stuff and the coupler installed. I'll just do the coupler on the other side here. Okay, Couplers on both sides. Now, so you want the side with all the brake apparatus on it towards the side that has the brake wheel. So this will go here. Like that. And once again for wheels, I'll be using the Intermountain 33-inch wheels. Now the long screws in place to hold this all together and hold the truck on. Okay, now I believe these can be glued on. Right here. Yeah, just like that. Get a little super glue action here. Okay, I think that is it, except for the brake wheel. And the brake wheel goes on just like that. I think I'm going to check these couplers to see if the height is okay. It looks a little low. Yep, I was right about the couplers. These are going to need to be something else. Unless, let me look at this and see. You know what, on second thought, I have these coupler boxes on upside down. Let's see if that makes a difference. I'm not sure that it will, but it looks as though the coupler box is supposed to go this way. Okay, here we go. 5 more of those, and this load is not... Yeah, I'm not sure about this coal load going in here. There's a lot of gap around the sides and ends. I may need to come up with something different for that. Okay, so I've got all 6 of the new Stewart cars built, and here they are next to the old Stewart cars I had before. I'm pretty sure they're the exact same thing, except for the coal, which I still really like this coal better than this stuff, but yeah, I don't know what I'll be able to do about that. Okay, so here it is with the 6 additional cars. right, next up we've got the Accurail 6-pack. So we've got the 6 little cars right here. Get those out, put them aside. And it looks like in this corner here we've got all the weights. Hopefully there are. Then we've got a little bag here with the trucks in it. And a bag of plastic wheels that will not be getting used. Another bag of plastic wheels will not be getting used. Now, this looks like basically all the parts here. Hopefully we've got 6 of those, and I only see a couple. We have directions. And aha. All right, let's get started here. So we'll get one of these. And I will go ahead and clip all the parts off of the spruce here. Now this also did come with some interesting couplers here, but we won't be using those. Okay, here is an overview of all the parts. We'll be looking at step 1, cement handbrake lever into body end. Okay. Here's the body end, and here's the handbrake lever. Okay, hopefully the camera will zoom in on that. Hey, there. Okay, step 1 done. Cement brake equipment to frame with brake equipment supports. Okay, so this, we're talking about all this stuff here goes on the end of this guy. All right, it looks like this is how the brake apparatus goes on there. Step 3, cement weight to the cavities of the underside of the body, cement frame onto the body with brake equipment at the end of the brake platform. Okay, I think we can do that. Okay, I've got everything cemented together there. And now we need... Okay, the best I can tell from the direction is these 2 little parts here and here go on kind of like that. And I guess we're supposed to glue the coupler box on there. I don't love that. I really don't love that. Oh, maybe not. No, it just seems to snap on. Okay, that's good. I will go ahead and check the coupler height here in a minute. Okay, lastly, we need trucks. Okay, so it looks like these pins here hold the trucks on. Now, I don't love that, but we'll see how that works. And these are just a press fit. Well, that's fine. Would have preferred a screw, but if this does the job, it does the job. Okay. Coupler height looks good to my eye. I will go check it with the gauge. Okay, the coupler height is perfect. And we have one car done. I will go ahead and weather that up a little bit and then get to work on the other 5. Okay, here it is after a little bit of weathering, and it's on the layout here next to the other cars. Now it's actually a little bit shorter than even these Athearn cars, and I do not have a coal load for these, so I'm going to get to that here in a minute. But it also is, if you notice the color, I don't know if that's showing up on camera, but that color is a little bit different as well. So that one's definitely going to... These are going to stand out a bit as being different. All right, so I have done some weathering on this lightly, and then I 3D printed a basic coal load. Now I'm going to try and use some of this coal here and glue it in place and see if I can make it a little bit better. Let's see how that works out. Here are the additional 6 cars added to the train. These last 5 just have the 3D printed coal thing. This one I actually added coal in, although it doesn't look quite the same as these, and I think I got it a little overfilled. But when you look at the entire train here, it's definitely getting more impressive. So let's get back to work and get the rest of the Accurail cars done. All right, so here we are on the final set, the Accurail 12-pack. And these are the little bit larger cars. They are, it doesn't say how many tons they are, just AAR triple hopper. Now, this time I did actually build one of these ahead of time, so I didn't have to do it for the first time on camera. Maybe I should have done that with the other ones. Here's what they look like. This way you won't have to see me stumble through doing it for the first time. Okay, let's see what's in the box. Looks like we have some parts. The body. More parts. Empty packaging. And in here are trucks. Wheels we won't be using, couplers we won't be using, and screws that we will be using. And then these cover the weights, and then these are the weights. And we'll get to the directions. Now, the weights I've decided to leave off because the coal load that I put in here adds significant amount of weight, and this actually weighs over an ounce more than the NMRA standard. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave the weights out from now on. Yeah, that's just, but here they are. This is what they look like. They go in the car like that. And then these pieces right here cover it over. If this was going to be empty, then you'd want to do that. And then this piece. But these are just going to go back in the box, and we're not going to be using those. Here are the directions. So get that all in there. Okay, so I will go ahead and get all the pieces cut out that we need to use and open up this little baggie here, get what we need out of that. Okay, these couplers I won't be using, and these little trip pins go with the couplers once it gets those back in the bag. And these are, yeah, plastic wheels on plastic axles. Yeah, we'll be skipping those. And as before, I will be using Intermountain 33-inch wheels. And they're a perfect fit, as per expected. Then there are 4 screws, 2 long and 2 short. We have a little tiny brake wheel. Then these parts right here, you need to, this centerpiece right here also needs to be cut off. Coupler mounting boxes. And these little hopper doors, they give you 4, but you only need 3 of them. And then these 2 parts. And then some extremely detailed brake apparatus. As you can tell, this is the most detailed kit we've built so far of all the whole set. Okay, so put all that in the... So step number 1 is we start to assemble the brake apparatus. Now that goes on... Okay. The first part, this part of the brakes goes... like that. That's step 1. Step 2, we do the couplers. And as before, we will be using Katie 148 couplers. 2 of them. And for the, to do the brakes, we need these 2 parts. These 2 are exactly the same. These are different. So this one goes on the end with the brake wheel. This one goes on the opposite end. But these 2 components here are the same for both sides. They go together like that. But then obviously you need the coupler in there. So, okay, this is how it all fits together. And then the screw. You need one of the little screws to hold it. Just like that. Now, here's where things get a little bit complicated. We have to install these 2 parts here into the brake end, which is this side here because it has the brake stuff on it. Now, this goes like that and attaches into the holes on here like that. And then this part right here fits in like this. There's a tiny little indent right down here that it fits into, and then if you see it from the end here, I'll back off the camera and try to show you how this goes on the end. You can see how it kind of sticks out here through the side. And I don't have it quite right even at that. There. Sorry. Okay, now I've got it perfectly right. It was super tricky to do for the first time. Actually, the second time it wasn't easy either. And now this thing needs to fit in here. And these, that, and that need to fit into these two dents that you see right here and right here. There's another third dent on, I don't know if you can see it, but where the brake part goes into that we just did. So now this kind of has to get in here under that and there. Now there's a little on this brake thing. Oh man, it's so hard to see this on camera. On this brake deal right here, this guy right here, there's a little peg right here that goes through this hole. So you've got to get it lined up just right. And once that's all lined up, I'll try to kind of show you from every angle here. Once you got everything lined up just perfectly, then hold it in place the best you can. Put one of the trucks on. Sorry. Get everything in place, put one of the trucks on, and then use one of the long screws to secure everything together. That's the most difficult part of this entire kit. And don't worry about it. The first time I did this, it took probably way too long to get that figured out. That's why I'm showing you the second attempt here and not the first. Otherwise, this video would be an hour long just putting this thing together. And as usual, don't over tighten, but get it pretty good. Yeah. This has some really extremely fine detail here on these like stirrups here, so be super careful not obviously to damage that. And then the same exact thing goes for the other side. Once again, this guy goes, if you can see, there's like a bend on the end of these. That goes into here. Like that. It should just stick in place. There, like that. And then the whole thing. See, that might actually need a little bit of glue to hold these in. We'll see. And then the whole deal. Just like that. In the directions, they talk about the whole thing going together without glue. And if it does, it fits together very well. This was masterfully engineered to fit just right. Okay, and then Next, we're going to put these, and these just kind of press in place. They could be glued, I'm sure, but I don't see that they need to be. It's just a nice snug fit. And last but not least, the brake wheel goes on. Now, the brake wheel I did find does not just stay in place, so I did use a small amount of CA to make sure it doesn't fall off. There, brake wheel. Okay, and then the last step, they talk about putting the weights in. But like I said before, I'm going to skip the weights since I've got the coal load in there, which adds significant amount of weight to it. I'll show you the detail here on the ends. This is the complicated end. This is the simple end. And, oh, and I did find out one thing. These, if you can see right here, if you are putting the weights in, they won't sit flush if you don't, like, scrape off this extra flashing right here. That's if you're going to put the weights in. It's not a big deal since I'm skipping the weights, but... So, the final step, other than weathering, will be... What are my coal loads here? And once again... This is the coal load I'm using. Yeah, this is the one that doesn't have weights. This is the one that does. And honestly, by hand, I can't really tell the difference. Yeah, this one's a slight amount heavier. But, yeah, like I said, with the weights and this coal load, it's a full ounce heavier than the NMRI recommended. So that's why I left the weights out on mine. So if you're not going to do the coal load, obviously you'd probably want to go ahead and do the weights. All right, we got 2 down and 10 more to go, so I'm going to get started on that. Okay, I have got all 12 of the Accurail cars done. They are not weathered, but they are put together, and they do have the coal loads in them. Here's the entire train. I'm going to have to back way up to get this all in frame. Oh, I still can't get it all. Okay, I can barely get it all in frame. 36 cars total. And I'm going to guess that the single shark nose here isn't going to be able to pull that whole train. We'll try it and see, though. Well, I'm impressed. I am really impressed. That is not the locomotive I'll eventually have pull this train, but it's just what I have going right now. Gives you some examples of how long that is. I have got to say, this Broadway Limited Shark Nose is a beast. I cannot believe it can pull 36 cars plus a caboose. That is very impressive. Obviously not prototypical, though. I mean, you wouldn't... Well, as impressive as it is for this one cab unit to pull this entire train, this is unrealistic. And I have another idea what I want to use for head end power here. So let's get that swapped out. All right, so here's what I decided on for the head end power. We've got a Stewart FT ABBA set. 3 of those are powered. 1 of them is unpowered. Probably much more realistic for pulling this size train. All right, YouTube, thank you for sticking around to the end of this video. I know it's been a long one. I'm just going to recap it here. These are the new, or they're not new, I've had these for a long time. For new to the channel are the Stewart FT units, numbered 100. These are the very earliest diesels. This one and this one, and that one are powered. This one is unpowered. These are the original 6 Stewart cars I've had for decades. This is the oddball car. I think it's Athearn. These are the Athearn blue box short cars. These are the other set of Stewart 6. These are the Accurail, the 6 Accurail shorter cars. And I will do something different about the coal loads in these. I'm going to get some different coal that looks more like that and just more shiny and less, yeah, more like that, less like this. And then we have the 12 Accurail longer cars and the caboose. So 36 total cars plus the caboose. We'll see if I can get it all in frame all at once. There is the whole train all in frame all at once.